That's good.
Hey, Bermcannon here, and today I am going to be testing and riding the Husqvarna TC 450 Rockstar Edition. And if I'm not pronouncing it right, if it's Husqvarna, let me know in the comments below. And if you're new to this channel, you guys know the game. Hit that subscribe button. This is a channel all for your man toys, your man trips, all to keep your life a little less boring. All right, let's get to it. The Husky TC 450 Rockstar Edition is pretty much everything a factory can throw at a bike except for the one-off parts that you'll get if you're on the Supercross team. Okay, let's face it. At $11,199 US dollars, you have money burning a hole in your pocket. But is it worth all that money? Well, it all depends on where you're coming from. From the beginning, our pastime was always to buy aftermarket parts and enjoy buying them, sharing them with our friends, and installing them on our own motorcycle and then racing that weekend. But now it seems the major manufacturers are just making these bikes straight out of the factory with anything you want on it. So on this windy, miserable day at Glen Helen, I was there with Husqvarna and KTM, testing out both the Rockstar Edition and the KTM 450 SXF Factory Edition. A representative from both companies was out there to make sure both bikes fit me just perfect. And in like all my reviews, this is a straight out of the gate perception. I'm not going to bore you with a bunch of overkill data, but for those that like that stuff, I'm going to leave a link in the description box to Dirt Bike Test where those guys do that perfectly. Now for the track, so this is Glen Helen Raceway, and I've spent the last 15 years racing, riding, and crashing here as well. This is the REM track, and it has everything you can want to test a motorcycle. It's an outdoor motocross type track. It gets dry, dusty in the corners, bumpy, rough. And if you're used to those tracks that are groomed every half hour, this track's not for you. It's pretty much shitty, and it's a man's track. Both bikes are equipped with 2 maps that you can adjust on the fly and add traction control. With 2 map profiles, I went with 2 first, and I could tell you that was way too much power on the bottom end. The power was very abrupt and almost like a light switch, either all on or all off. And from a vet racer perspective, that could be tough to get used to. I immediately set it to number 1, which made the power a lot more usable across the mid-range. Once I had it set in that setting, I enjoyed the bike a lot more, and it had less of a tendency to jump out of the ruts, and I can steer it a little bit better. And yes, I know KTM makes both of these bikes and they're under the same umbrella, but that doesn't mean they are the same. The KTM guys have told me that there are 2 different groups of engineers that design these bikes. Yes, they share the same power plant, but there are slight differences in the ergonomic, like airbox design. But for power and suspension, those things, it was all there. But the one thing that it was missing for me was handling. And specifically, it failed my squared corner test. And that is when you're racing, anybody can go around a berm that's already made for them or go around a rolled corner that's already grooved out for them. But a square corner test is when you're forced into the hay bales or forced high into the corner, and then you have to change directions on the bike abruptly. And a lot of bikes fail this test. And a lot of it could be the way the bike's set up. It usually stands up in the corner and then falls over at high sides. But most of the time, it's a struggle to get the bike to change directions, especially in the heat of battle. I would say the TC 450's strong point was its power. The thing just had tons of it. Now the KTM 450 SXF Factory Edition is $100 less. And again, besides sharing the same power plant, it does have subtle differences. Maybe you can let me know in the comments below. So just like the TC 450, the KTM guys set the bike up just for me. And the KTM had some noticeable different bolt-ons as far as the Akrapovic pipe and some other accessories.
106 on sag. Controls?
Good.
Comfortable? Two different maps on it. Map 1 will be stock, map 2 is aggressive. Just tap it, it'll change between.
Just like that one.
Exactly. TC button will be, TC is on when it's lit up, and when it's no light, it's off.
Okay.
Yeah, have fun.
You know, to be honest, I felt right at home right off the bat when I got on the KTM 450 SXF Factory Edition. And mainly because I've been riding around on that KTM 500 EXCF. I mean, it is a little biased, I do admit, but, you know, what are you going to do? Listen, the racing game all comes down to physical ability and the ability to be one with the bike without the bike sucking all the energy out of you. All the major motorcycle manufacturers that are making motocross bikes nowadays, they're all good. I mean, really, are you going to nitpick certain things when you're eating pizzas and not training properly to get trophies? I mean, really, that's what it comes down to. I felt both power settings on the maps 1 and 2 were a lot better suited for my riding style. I didn't even use traction control because I felt the power was usable across both of those settings. And as far as handling, as you can see right back there, it was very maneuverable. Whether you were pushing it high into the corners or had to stop on a dime and then turn it 90 degrees, it seemed to turn a lot better than the Husky. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you use this video along with tons of other videos on YouTube to make your decision on which one of these bikes is best for you. And as always, if you have any detailed questions, you can leave them down in the comments below. And then check out the description box. I will leave a link to Dirt Bike Test where they actually do more in-depth tests on these bikes. See you guys later.